How's it going, everyone? Data here, and welcome back to the Seattle Kraken franchise mode, episode number 28, here at the beginning of year number 7, the 2027-28 regular season. In the last one, we had a changing of the guard, as after 3 consecutive Stanley Cups, the three-peat complete, we are starting to move into a new phase of this franchise's history, moving on from the legends such as Jaden Schwartz, Vinny Trocheck, and looking at the future with names such as Isaac Roseyan, Chris Moss, Dawson Mercer, Vitaly Popov, Asher Maloney, Pasi Lume. On defense, a lot of good prospects: Kozlov, Yurchek. In the AHL, Kobasu, Morrison, Sloan, Lundberg. The development system, the prospect pool, everything is here and in place to really go from one of the best teams of the last 2 decades into one of the best teams of all time. So in this episode, we're going to start simulating through the first half of this 2027-28 season. Our captain, Vladimir Tarasenko, is still here, 35 years of age at 85 overall. Our core of Marco, McKinnon, and Tuck still here as well. On defense, Chikrin, Bear, Ryan Pulock, who may be moving in this episode, not sure. And of course, our starting goaltender, who just signed an 8-year extension, Peyton Hollywood Wilm on film. 8 years at 8.95 per, backed up by Matt Murray at the moment. We still have some scratches who want to make the lineup. It's going to be an interesting preseason. I'm going to put a lot of focus on the preseason in this episode, followed by quickly simulating through the first half, and then leaving it off for all of you to put in your suggestions for the second half. But speaking of suggestions, we can dive straight into the comments, thinking about who's getting roster spots, who's moving, who's the odd man out, and what kind of lineup will we have for this upcoming preseason, who's going to get the opportunities to play. Gen Z McKenzie likes switching out Gambrel, fourth line center, for Jamison Reese, switching Mercer with either Lume or Maloney, maybe trading Ryan Pulock or Hayden Fleury. If Pulock gets traded, that opens up a spot for Riker Evans to play, 81 overall, low elite. Fleury is now a depth defenseman, and other defensive prospects are the ones who are going to play in the future. Try to get a high 70s depth goalie. Probably that's going to be over in free agency because Wilm has missed several months in his first and third seasons due to injury. So while Peyton Wilm has been amazing, especially in the playoffs, he has had some injury troubles and doesn't, we have Juho Markkinen, who we signed, who'll be great as an AHL starter, but do we really have someone who could slot in the NHL? Not quite. So we'll take care of that in this episode, signing a free agent goaltender to play as maybe potential backup challenging Matt Murray, or just third goalie if need be due to injury. Grievous says that moving forward, it's time to forget about most of the future in terms of picks. From now on, those picks should be turned into players to stack the lines at every point possible on offense or defense. Wilm on film in the crease, let's get the four-peat. So our prospect system is there, as I said. We traded our first-round pick last year in a deal that got us Jacob Chikrin, who ended up being a huge, instrumental piece in our Stanley Cup victory. 11 points in 23 games, and then over point per game in the playoffs. So now we're becoming a team that is okay with trading its first-round picks, or maybe even some prospects, to continue those Stanley Cup runs. For the possible line changes, Pat thinks that Chris Moss absolutely needs to be on the second line and the first power play. Of all the prospects, he grew the most from 80 or 81 to 83 and has the most tantalizing upside. Maybe gift him a couple X factors for a job well done, and he too may get a beefy chem boost with Roseyan and Beniers. So we'll come back to this comment in a moment. Chris Moss, I did add a couple of X factors to him. The channel rule is a maximum of 3 players get X factors added or removed per off season. We didn't do any last season. This year he'll be the only one, Chris Moss, with the 5-star shooting, just being a pure sniper as well in his rookie season. Not great because we demoted him a little bit to some bottom 6 minutes. It wasn't ideal because of Jaden Schwartz, etc. But he did score 18 goals, 15 assists. Not horrible. And now as an 83 overall, I think he's going to do great in the middle 6. Gift him the 1T and the Schneip. If he plays on the second line with Beniers and Tarasenko, he gets a +2. If Tarasenko moves with Roseyan, that line gets a +5. Roseyan is a fantastic playmaker, 88 passing, has 11 goals and 51 assists in his NHL career, so he's a great playmaker. But we'll see if he would be better on the third line or the second line. We'll get back to that later. But Chris Moss absolutely will get second line time, at least to begin the season / the preseason, and some power play minutes as well. Back to Pat's comment, he thinks the other stud that needs to be maximized is Tiny Morrison. That age and medium elite, it's time to trade Ryan Pulock, clear up $6 million going forward, and let Tiny be great. Pulock is the odd man out, in my opinion, due to age, average annual value, and being a right-handed defenseman. Otherwise, can't wait to see what these boys can do. So, Tiny Morrison in the first season in the AHL. He was in the juniors last year. 21 years of age, 79 overall, medium elite, two-way D, solid numbers, especially for the puck skills. He was drafted in the 112th overall in 2025. In the QMJHL, he's put up great numbers, point per game, close to point per game pretty much the last couple of years. And he joined some other great prospects here in Braden Kobasu. He has the X Factors, also 21, 79, low elite, but X Factors. Vince Sloan, 22 and 79, medium top 4. And Kalle Lundberg, 19, 77, medium top 4 with some X Factors as well. So it's tough. It's a logjam on defense. And while this defense is amazing, maybe Ryan Pulock is the odd man out. He is moving into his 6th season with the Kraken. He's played 5 years with us. He's been a very steady presence. He's been an alternate captain for a few years now. We picked him up from the Islanders. He wasn't happy with how he was being treated there. He had a huge extension that just didn't come to be, but he ended up playing 5 of those years with us. He has 3 more years on his contract. Moving him out now might be the move. But realistically, whether he moves or not, there's still guys like Yerchek, who I'm not sure if he's going to be growing. Kozlov, who hasn't grown the last couple of years. He's been an 80 overall ever since he's been drafted. Played 2 full NHL seasons, and he hasn't grown at all from 80 overall. So that's the thing. It's scary to move Pulock with anticipating growth, but not really seeing any. But Pat does have a point with Pulock being the odd man out. We'll probably let the preseason do the deciding there for if guys like Morrison and Kobasu can make the team. But Morrison is definitely somebody that we'd want to push to make the NHL. Especially with how complicated growth can be, we can't let Morrison just fizzle out there in the AHL. But the same with Kobasu and Sloan and everybody else. So that's a tough one. We were also talking about possible acquisitions if we did trade Pulock or that first-round pick, etc. If there was a position on this team to beef up or bolster, it would probably be that second-line left wing. Joel Jukes says, I like the Olofsson move. We were talking about players on the block. Victor Olofsson is on the block with Winnipeg, I believe. If your top 6 isn't scoring enough. 1 year as well, so he's a rental. Value didn't seem too high. Another guy I'd kick tires on for the potential top 6 is Rickard Rakell. If the scheme fit is there, he might be an option. Only potential issue is that he has 2 years left. Could be a good thing, just have to be conscious of the cap situation next year, as that's another contract that'll be on the books. Another interesting point of his comment here, Jukesy says that he notices there's usually growth/regression 2 times in a season. Once on September 13th when the new season kicks in, we all know that. But then again, roughly 15 to 20 games in. I don't know why, but like clockwork, after about 15 to 20 games, players grow/regress more depending on their start to the season. I did not know this. I always thought that it was just kind of around the halfway mark, but not around the 15 to 20 games. So we'll keep note on that. Good luck going for 4 data. Much love as always. Thank you, Jukesy. That's going to be something that we'll look at sometime in this video. Finishing off with Vinny, who also likes the idea to get Olofsson for the second line. It sounds good, but only on the condition that guys like Rosean and Moss are not ready. Otherwise, we need to put priority on our players for ice time. Also, I would keep Riker Evans as the 7th D because he has low elite potential. Thank you, Vinny. Pat also followed up on his comment in the Discord server, finishing it off here. He says that his ideal forwards would go Tuck, Mac, Marco, Rosean, Beniers, Moss, Lume, Popov, Tarasenko, Maloney, Gambrel, Mercer. Mercer is just a 4th-line guy now, and that's fine. You can't possibly grow 12 forwards to 90 at once. Honestly, one of Lume, Maloney, Rosean, and Popov should probably move in the next year, too. One of them is going to be getting 4th-line minutes, unless you trade Tuck, which seems dramatic. So we'll let the numbers do the talking. We'll let development do its thing. Those lines could be a perfect start for the regular season, but while we're in the preseason, we'll continue to do some experimentation. So first things first, I put Pulock on the block. We'll start thinking about a potential trade, but we don't want to do anything yet. We want to let the preseason come. The first thing we got to do is just go into free agency if these menus could stop being so sticky, and we got to sign a 3rd goaltender. There are some decent options here in free agency, looking at goalies and sorting by overall, especially, I don't know if it's Nick Malik or Nick Malik, I'm going to call him Malik. 82 overall, medium starter, 6th round pick in 2022 by the Panthers, 25 years of age. I like this pick especially because even if, let's say, Matt Murray, he's on an expiring contract. So whether or not Murray does well this season, Malik can be our guy moving forward, backing up Peyton Wilm, as opposed to both of them. We signed someone to a 1-year deal like Aiden Hill, and both he and Murray walk next year. Malik can come and be third goalie right now, maybe take over backup role from Murray, and be backup in the years to come. So I don't want to cheese the system too much, but I also don't want to give him a 1-year deal, because I think in the real world we'd be saying, listen, we're going to give you 2 or 3 years, and you're going to be our backup moving forward. So if the numbers look okay, I'm happy to go 2 years, and I'll probably, let's be honest here, let's go $950K for 2 years. His NHL numbers aren't great. His AHL numbers are good. You know what? No, I'm not gonna cheese the system, but I'll find a middle ground here. Let's go 2 years, $900K for Nick Malik. And I'd almost go 3, but if he does well, it would make sense that he'd say, let's just do 2 and go from there. So currently considering my options. I'll get back to you later. No problem. I see that the entire league is lining up to sign you. So now we'll just advance to the next preseason game. The scouts have already been sent out, and I will get an idea of the lineup. Extremely happy to accept the offer. Welcome, Mr. Malik, to the Seattle Kraken system. Why would I give you a second for 2/3? Some random deals here. Okay, so let's make some line changes. Obviously, we already know that McKinnon, Marco, Beniers are all going to make it, so we can take them out for most of the games. So game number 1 of the preseason, let's have the lineup look like this. Bang. So Roseyan, Beniers, Moss, first line, Maloney, Popov, Tuck on the second, Bergenheim, Rickard Bergenheim, who we drafted 22nd overall in 2026. Hopefully he can do something, but not likely that he makes the team. You never know. Chris Moss, he made it out of camp last year. With Lume and Mercer, Pasi Lume, a 5th round pick in 2026. Look at these gems, great scouting. And 4th line, Heiskanen, Reese, and Gambrel. Vesa Heiskanen, this is probably his last chance, 24 years of age, has not grown. We got to give him a chance. Asher Maloney has a lot to prove as well. Now at an 81 overall, yet to make his NHL debut after 4 years in the AHL. He has played 2 preseasons, has 1 assist in 9 games. Hopefully he can do something. Fingers crossed for Asher Maloney. Defense will go Yerchek Pulak, Riker Evans with Tiny Morrison, and Hayden Fleury with Alex Kozlov. Starting between the pipes will go Matt Murray, backed up by Nick Malik. And in the next games, we'll rotate in Sloan Kobasu and some other forwards as well. So let's start that off. We'll go with the slow sim here against the Vancouver Canucks. I don't want to do slow sim every game because calendar sim versus slow sim is not always the same thing. But we'll give this first one a slow sim so we can get a little bit of extra detail on who's doing what, since you can't go back and look at the box score like MLB The Show, unfortunately. First period here, the preseason, Cote opening it up, 16-6, the shots in our favor. Second period, we're down 3-0. Third period, 4-1. Matty Beniers scoring the lone goal for us. So in a 4-1 loss, is there anyone who's really taking the brunt here? Plus, minus, unfortunately, the only thing that we can really look at. -2s from Kozlov and Fleury. That is not good. Roseyan, -1 with an assist. A lot of -1s. It was pretty evenly distributed. It was Beniers from Moss and Roseyan on that top line. Okay, and how did Matt Murray look? He, 17 saves on 21 shots. Yikes. So, Matt Murray, you got to look good. That backup spot is not guaranteed as yours, my friend. Let's make some changes heading into the second game against the Oilers. We'll look like this. All right, we'll go Moss, Beniers, Tuck, Maloney, Popov, Mercer, Roseyan, Lume, Heiskanen, and Bergenheim, Reese, Gambrel. Defensively, we'll go Yerchek, Pulak again, but now Sloan, Evans, and Kozlov, Morrison, with Nick Malik getting the start. Climate Pledge Arena, let's see what we can do this time. Simulating the first period, 1-0 Oilers. Second period, 4-0 Oilers. And third period, 5-1. We score 1 goal from the defensive defenseman on the third pair, Alexander Kozlov. Not looking good through these first couple of games. Popov, a -4. -3 from Tuck, Maloney, Pulak, a -3. What the heck? Oof, like I know we're not a very good team. Like a lot of our regulars are out, but yikes. What in the world? It was Kozlov from Reese and Bergenheim. The 4th line looked okay. So I guess I'll keep the 4th line and the 3rd defensive pair the same. But the top 9 and the top 4 are both going to get changed to look like this. Bang! So Moss, Beniers, Marco, Maloney, Popov, Mercer, Heiskanen, Lume, Roseyan, and Bergenheim, Reese, Gambrel. Defensively, Sloan, he looked okay in almost 16 minutes of ice time. We'll give him top pair minutes with Bear. Not good for the chemistry, but whatever. Kobasu with Jiricek. He'll make his debut. Braden Kobasu and Kozlov with Morrison. And we'll give Matt Murray the start, backed up by Nick Malik. There we go. So we've been outscored, what, 9-2 over these first 2 preseason games? Ugly stuff. Let's try and get some scoring generated against the Vegas Golden Knights, who are 1-1-1. We're at T-Mobile Arena. Pretty much only the first line has been contributing any offense. First period, up 3-0. There we go. Roseyan on the power play. Marco. And then Sloan throwing in some offense. The offensive defenseman. Okay. Second period, 4-0. Vitaly Popov. And third period, 5-0. Asher Maloney gets one. His first preseason goal ever. 40 save shutout for Matt Murray. What? 40 saves. A goal and an assist for Maloney. A goal and assist for Popov. And a 40 save shutout for Matt Murray. My goodness. Okay. So we'll give Matt, and the Rangers beat the Blue Jackets 12-2 if you see in the top right. Huge game right there. I didn't check the plus minuses because everyone's going to be a plus right there, but great offense generated from a lot of those players. Still no goals from Chris Moss, only 1 assist for him, but Maloney, the second line got going. The third line looked, didn't do any offense, just Roseyan on the power play, but not 5-on-5. Fourth line not causing any problems. Sloan got his goal. Vince Sloan, second round pick back in 2023. Yes, goal and assist from him now in 2 games. Kobasu was a +2 in almost 20 minutes of ice time. And Tiny Morrison, what's up with him? 3 games, still an even 0, 12-40. So I'll give Morrison some more ice time. Let's make some more changes here. And for this next game, the lineup will look like this. And here we go. Roseyan, Beniers, Marco, Maloney, Popov, Moss, Heiskanen. This is going to be his last chance. No points through 3 games. I'm giving him third line with Lume and Mercer, along with power play time. You know what? Maybe he needs a good playmaker with him. You know what? I'm going to put Maloney on the third line. So we'll go Mercer, Popov, Moss. And then Heiskanen, Lume, Maloney, Bergenheim, Reese, Gambrel. It may very well be our 4th line start of the year. I don't know what's up with Lume. Chychrun, Sloan, Kobasu, Morrison, Kozlov, Evans, and we'll start Nick Malik with Matt Murray backing up. But if Malik does not have a good show tonight, it may be just Wilm and Murray the rest of the way here. So we want to start getting our regulars back in the lineup after this game. We'll be getting, probably after this one, Tarasenko and or McKinnon back in the lineup so they can start getting into season form. Let's get this going here. First period, 3-1. Maloney, Beniers, and Morrison scoring for us. Larocque scoring against Malik. Second period, 4-1. Asher Maloney again. And third period, and 7-2. What? Bergenheim twice, and Mercer on that second line. A great game. After the first 2 just horrible outings, 5-0 and 7-2. Lume, Reese, he heard me talking. Maloney with a couple goals. Chychrun, 2 assists and a +3. What a monster. Bergenheim scores twice on that 4th line. Heiskanen gets 2 assists. Okay. Popov, Mercer, Morrison, Beniers. No points from Kozlov, Evans, Sloan, just the defenseman. Nothing from Moss, which is really getting to me here. Same for Roseyan. Roseyan has not been impressing me, and he was going to be one of the guys fighting for those second line minutes. And Nick Malik, what did he have to do out there? Made 25 saves on 27 shots. Not bad. Matt Murray still ahead of him for who's going to be backup, but we will give him another game. He lives to see another day. We'll go against the Ducks now. We've played 4 games. I believe that leaves 3 more to go. So let's change up the lines once again to look like this. All right, so Marco, McKinnon, Tarasenko, Moss, Beniers, Mercer, Heiskanen, Popov, Maloney, Bergenheim, Reese, and Lume. For the moment, I'm going to be cutting Dylan Gambrel. No points in 4 games, despite Bergenheim and Reese getting points. 3 from Bergenheim and 4 from Reese, who's been good. I think some of his points coming on the power play, Jameson Reese. Only 1 out of the 4, so 3 assists as 4th line center. This is a bit more representative of what the actual bottom 6 would look like. Heiskanen lives to see another day with those 2 assists last game. Moss has to do something on that second line with Beniers and Mercer. Defensively, we're going to stay with the Chychrun, Sloan, Kobasu, Morrison, but Kozlov will now play with Hayden Fleury. Malik will get the start, and this is going to be a big game for the defense because I want to get Keandre Miller, David Jiricek back in the lineup a bit more. So I'm going to be swapping actually Sloan and Kobasu. They both get a chance to play top pair with Chychrun, and we'll probably make 1 or 2 cuts or at least changes by next game. So Malik starts once more. This time we'll be taking on the Anaheim Ducks at the Honda Center. 2 big losses followed by 2 big wins. Asher Maloney leading the team in points at the moment, or at least tied. First period 1-1, Marco scoring for us. Second period 4-1, Heiskanen on the power play. Chris Moss, there he is, and Matty Beniers as well. Third period ends 5-1. Popov adds one of his own as the third line centerman. Very, very nice. Let's see how the defense did. Can we start by defense? No, eh? But as long as there's no negatives, I hope. -1 for Kobasu. That hurts a little bit. But 2 points from Vesa Heiskanen, who heard the call to wake up. 3 assists from Asher Maloney. Very, very nice. That's what we like to see. No points from most of the defensemen here. But at least a +2 from Fleury and Kozlov. A +1 from Morrison. That's nice. Malik makes 30 saves on 31 shots, so he is fighting for that backup spot now. Peyton Wilm, he's going to play the last preseason game, but I'll give one more preseason start to Matt Murray so he can try and reply to what Malik has done the last couple of games. Only 3 goals allowed in his last 2 starts. And then we'll finish off the preseason with the lines how we think they may look. Let's change them up again. All right, so I'm going to try swapping back in Rosen for Maloney, because I know Maloney's making this team, but Rosen, I'm going to give him a good playmaking opportunity. Maloney's done great as third line right wing. How can Rosen do with Popov and Heiskanen on the third line? Everything else stays the same, except I'm actually going to put Mercer on the first line because I want to see how Moss does with Beniers and Tarasenko. Give him one last chance to showcase how he could look on that second line. Defensively, Miller replacing Kobasu is sent back down. Sloan and Morrison on the second again. Kozlov and Fleury on the third. Matt Murray will get the start. And Riker Evans, I think I've seen enough. I don't know. 7th D is probably the best, but Fleury's been doing well. So actually, I might go Evans and Fleury. No, but then it's tough to differentiate between them. I'm going to keep it as is. Bergenheim is pushing for the NHL. He's done very well on this fourth line. So we're going to be faced with a lot of tough decisions here coming into the regular season with just one last game after this one. So this is probably the last one to really showcase, because the game against the Kings is going to be probably pretty much this is the lineup type game. Taking on the Calgary Flames, who are 4-1-0 in the preseason. Let's see what we can do. First period, 1-0. Jamison Reese, who's been amazing this preseason. Second period, Chychrun on the power play and Pasi Lume. And third period ends 4-1 as Kozlov adds a goal. My goodness. 18 saves on 19 shots for Malik. Chychrun, Reese, Dawson Mercer with a couple assists on that top line. Man, they are not making it easy in these last few games. +3 for the fourth line. What? The fourth line's been amazing. It has to say as is. Fleury a +2 with an assist. Popov, Rosen, and Heiskanen -1. I don't know if Rosen's the X factor there, but things have not gone well when Rosen is in the lineup for whoever his line mates are. So I think I'm going to keep Rosen out of the lineup for now. Maybe even he's trade bait. I'm not sure. But going into this game against the Kings, here's an idea of what I think our actual lineup may be. If they do well, it's a yes. If they struggle, we might make more changes. But that being said, here's the idea. All right, so the classic Tuck, McKinnon, Marco stays together. Second line, I'll still keep Moss there for the moment with Beniers and Tarasenko at the +2. Third line is Maloney, Popov, and Mercer, as the fourth line becomes Bergenheim, Reese, and Lume. An amazing revelation so far. Our 13th forward is Vesa Heiskanen, out of nowhere, scoring 4 points in 6 games. And our 7th defenseman becomes Vince Sloan, who is who's going to slide in instead of Hayden Fleury. Hayden Fleury may get a full-time spot instead, because Riker Evans did not impress and Ryan Pulock is likely on the way out. Now the question is, do we slot in Morrison over Fleury instead? And then that bumps everybody down. Fleury becomes the 7th D, and then Sloan just plays in the AHL. It's tough because Sloan is a year older at 22. I want him to develop, but he's going to be a healthy scratch as well. So again, I'm not totally certain on that. I think Morrison might come in over Kozlov. That's why, you know what, it'll probably make more sense if we just do one more game of Kozlov and Morrison. Sloan, a goal and assist with a +5, over 20 minutes a night, close to 21 minutes a night, +5 in 5 games. I'd really want to keep Sloan here. Morrison, 6 games, 1 goal, a +2 in less ice time, but has that potential. He has to grow, 6'4". how much performance and how much potential, how much stock do we put into each, right? I'd really want Vince Sloan to make the team, but it's either he has to make the team or play in the AHL. I don't want him to, I don't think, to be the 7th D-man. Dylan Gambrell, I don't think he makes the team, and neither does Isaac Roseyan. So I think I don't know if I want them in the AHL, though. I might just end up trading them instead, because they're probably just too good. That 4th line, if they can continue the regular season, we'll give it a little 10-game experiment or whatever. If it works out, then that'll be the 4th line, because you can't always take the results of the preseason and put them into the NHL right away. So let's try Morrison and Kozlov for one last preseason game. Wilm backed up by Matt Murray. He's the veteran. Numbers are pretty even, but Murray does have the edge, so we'll make him the backup for now over Malik, who did show a good, strong second half of the preseason there. Let's just get this preseason over with here. First period against the Kings, 1-0 Marco. Second period, 2-2 as Maloney scores another. And third period, 3-2, Nathan MacKinnon scoring the game-winning goal. Checking these last stats over here. +2s for Marco McKinnon. Tuck, -1 for Beniers, Moss, and Tarasenko. Moss, 3 shots on net, but only 1 goal through 6 or 7 preseason games. Not really ideal. So maybe Mercer gets that second line spot to start the season. I think maybe that's how we'll roll with it. But I just, no matter how you cut it, I don't think there's room anymore for Ryan Pulock on this team. He's been a great trooper for us, very consistent defenseman, one of the best in the NHL in the real world, but in NHL franchise mode land, not as valuable, despite the X factors. Very valuable, just not as valuable as he is in the real world. 4.5-star defense. He's been an alternate captain. Spent, 5 or 6 years with the Islanders, 5 years with us. Riker Evans, he'll probably want to move as well. We can figure that out later on, but I think Ryan Pulock is the guy that we can just take care of right away. Even if we could package him with Roseyan, just let them go and be great somewhere else. There isn't as much room for them here, so let me figure out what I can do for them that would be appropriate. So here's a trade idea with the Philadelphia Flyers, trying to find a team that wants both players and has a salary cap to do it, and it makes sense organizationally. They have the status of a buyer. They have a good prospect on their trade block. This guy, Vitaly Tikhonov, 18 years of age, 65 overall, medium top 6. He is a 26th overall selection in 2027, a power forward with the no contest superstar ability. Wouldn't mind having some more good centers in our system, because now with Lume and Popov and Reese coming to the NHL, there's not really anybody left in the AHL. Hopefully he can get some growth. If not, we take a chance, and hey, a first-round pick wouldn't be bad either if the Flyers are willing to do this. Trade rejected, value isn't sufficient, but I don't think it's too far off. We do have already a couple of second-round picks. I wouldn't want to just swap a second for a first, but if I threw in just, I don't know, just a 4th and a 7th to see what kind of language are they speaking here. Trade accepted, fantastic. So Ryan Pulock and Isaac Roseyan off to the Eastern Conference, the Philadelphia Flyers, with a 4th and a 7th in exchange for a first-round pick, a prospect, and another player, Enqvist, just for the roster spots. Ryan Pulock, part of that Seattle Kraken statue, 5 years, 3 cups. It has been an absolute pleasure to have you on this team. Best of luck to you, Bello, and let's see how this team shapes up now. All right, so after that trade, we're going into the regular season with Tuck, McKinnon, Marco, Moss, Beniers, Tarasenko, Maloney, Popov, Mercer. Moss and Mercer might be ones that we switch around. Bergenheim, Reese, and Lume as the 4th line. Bit of a surprise. Defensively, we'll go Chychrun, Bear, Miller, Jiricek. We really want to try and get him to grow, and Kozlov, Morrison. So Tiny Morrison will play 3rd pair defense. Not the greatest fit. Ideally would be the 2nd pair, but even then it would still, Jiricek will get a +3, but we have to think of Jiricek's growth at the same time, and he needs to have 2nd pair minutes as well, and he has the best fit there too. So it's not the greatest coach for our current crop of defense, but we'll have to roll with it like that. Special teams now. I was thinking we might go 5 forwards, or I might have to give Tiny Morrison some ice time for the medium elite potential. I think we have to. So who's the odd one out of all these players? It's probably Dawson Mercer. Maloney had such a good preseason. Mercer's going to get 2nd/3rd line time, plus I gave him some other special teams. So it's a bit odd, as a 2-way D and everything, but it's the extra ice time, it's the extra scoring, hopefully. Tiny Morrison will play on the 2nd unit. Yeah, not great for the pluses there. Chemistry is 0 and 0. 4-man. Penalty kill +5 and +2. Bergenheim probably in over his head, but he helps for the chemistry. If the penalty kill is not doing well, we'll definitely go ahead and change that later on. But McKinnon at 100 overall, Chychrun at a 92, Jiricek at an 87. That +5 should hopefully help, and Bergenheim +5 brings him to an 83. Wilm backed up by currently Matt Murray. There we go. 13th forward, Vesa Heiskanen. 7th D is Hayden Fleury. In the AHL, lines are a bit weird, but they look like this. Definitely not as strong as they have been in the past. Gambrel, we're not going to trade him yet. We'll keep him right there. Helps for the chemistry. Defensively, I changed up the associate coach with the head coach, so it helps our chemistry. +1 in the first 2 deep pairs. Special teams, though, are not very good, unfortunately. Goaltending, it's Juho Markkinen backed up by Marcus Hilpert. Unfortunately, Robin Blatter, healthy scratch, medium elite, 21 years of age, 64. Hilpert is 68, 20, medium starter. So younger, higher overall, less potential. Going to be a difficult balance there, but we'll see what happens with injuries, performance, and all that stuff. Let's just get this season started after all of these different mixing and matching and all these different thoughts. Jaden Schwartz is off the team. Ryan Pulak is off the team, which means we have to think about some new captaincies here. So captain Vladimir Tarasenko, as always. Nathan McKinnon, I think he took the A from Schwartz. Like, Schwartz had it for a little bit, so he gets to keep his alternate captaincy. But the other alternate captaincy will stay on the blue line, and it will go to Mr. Ethan Bear. One of the longest serving players on the team and the longest serving defenseman as well. Of course, not taking Hayden Fleury into consideration. He's a 7th D, not going to give him a letter. And Jiricek is long serving as well, but Ethan Bear, a mix of talent and leadership and all that stuff. So he'll get an A, with Tarasenko and McKinnon being the other 2 pieces of the leadership core on the team. Let's get this party started, simulate the first 5-10 games or so, and get an idea of what we're looking like, and go all the way to the the 41 game mark. So basically the beginning of January. The scouts have been sent out. We're ready to rock and roll. Season begins at Climate Pledge Arena, raising the banner against the Nashville Predators. 3rd consecutive Stanley Cup banner being raised to the rafters. Too bad EA doesn't let you see that if you go in game. Let's start off the season with a bang. 2027, 2028, year number 7, defending back-to-back Stanley Cup champions. Let's do it. First period, first shot of the game, first shot of the season. Alexander Kozlov scores, and the first period ends 3-1. Cirelli ties it back up, but then the captain, Vladimir Tarasenko, and Kozlov, very likely the first multi-goal game of his career, scores 2 goals in 1 period, and it's 3-1 Kraken after 20. My goodness. Second period now 4-2 as Quinn Hughes scores for the Predators. He was signed in free agency, and Vitaly Popov scoring as our new full-time third-line centerman, taking the spot that Vinny Trocheck formerly had. Nathan McKinnon making it 5-2. He is coming off of back-to-back Conn Smythe trophies. The power play has not been effective, but we are up by 3. Power play Nashville. We'll call it a night right there. 5-2 the final. Shots 34-24, and we win it 5-2. Kozlov, first star of the night with 2 goals and an assist. Tarasenko, a goal and an assist. And Popov, was that the game-winning goal for 3rd star? It may have been. Great way to start off the season. Let's get into the calendar simulation now. Alexander Kozlov, take a bow, now in his 3rd NHL season. So we'll go until a Stanley Cup final rematch against the Maple Leafs in a couple of weeks' time, and then we'll be able to just get an idea of how things have been looking up until then. 5-3 loss against the Avalanche and a 7-2 win against the Canucks. 5-3 loss to the Ducks. 6-1 win against the Predators a week after beating them. 4-2 win against the Avalanche a week after losing against them. And then another 4-3 win against the Predators. That's 3 wins in 3 weeks against Nashville. And now we are 5-2-0 coming up against the 4-2-0 Toronto Maple Leafs, who we beat in 5 games for the Stanley Cup. We are 8-1 against them through 2 of our 3 Stanley Cup finals. Both 2 of them against Toronto, 1 against Carolina. First period, 1-0. It's Jonathan Marchessault. Second period, 1-1. Nathan McKinnon ties it up. Shots are relatively even. 21-20 for the Leafs headed into the final period. Power play Toronto, we kill it off. Power play for the Kraken, now killed off by Toronto. Shots are still very even. We're going back and forth, back and forth. Power play Toronto now. We kill it off once more. The penalty killers have been strong. Haven't seen much from the power play, though. as we have 3 minutes to go now in this one. It's still tied at 1. Final minute, nothing comes from it. Shots 29-28 for the Maple Leafs, 1-1 after 60. Let's check out some overtime. Here we are in Seattle, Climate Pledge Arena, a rematch of the Stanley Cup Final. 1-1 game after 60. Let's see if there's any heroics. Morgan Rielly with the windmill through Ethan Bear, but big save from Peyton Wilm, who comes far out of his crease. Fishing it out now is Nathan MacKinnon, leading the charge the other way, skating down the boards. Finds some space into the middle, but gets bumped by Marner, who now has a chance of his own back the other way. Finding space, Morgan Rielly stopped by Wilm, and he'll hang on. Marner to Rielly. MacKinnon breaks that up, gets it up to Isaiah Marco now. Marco double teamed. His helmet pops off at the blue line. He can't get out of the zone. Marner takes it back in against MacKinnon. He gets hit. Rielly, Matthews, pad save from Wilm, sticking out the leg. Nobody wants to pick up the puck, so Matthews does. Gets it to Marner. Can't get it out from behind the net. Now Alex Tuck is back the other way. Gets bumped. MacKinnon picks it up. Gives it to Bear. Lots of space. Windmill scores. Nathan MacKinnon in overtime. And the Kraken make it 4 in a row. Falling over my words. Windmill off a skate. Kick to the stick. Take the shot. Oh, so many things happening here in EA land, but the Kraken win it in overtime, once again getting a win over the Toronto Maple Leafs. Nathan MacKinnon, the $11 million man, getting it done. MacKinnon picking it up from Bear with the A on his jersey. Beautiful victory, 4 in a row. Let's get back to the menu. So a big 2-1 victory to bring us to 6-2-0 on the season. 31 save performance from Peyton Hollywood Wilm. Through those 8 games, let's just get a quick idea of how things are going. We're tied for top spot in the division with the Edmonton Oilers. We're scoring quite a bit. We're allowing more than the average team. Power play at 13% is not great, but it's not far off from what most teams are through like 8 games. Penalty kill is strong enough at 88%, so I'd like to see more from the power play before any changes come, but the penalty kill is holding its own, so I'm just more concerned about the power play. Tarasenko on -3, but 9 points through 8 games. Marco, Beniers, Tarasenko, Tuck, and MacKinnon all point per game or above. Alex Kozlov has 7 points in 8 games. What is this guy's career high in points? This guy's scored 20 points through 2 years, and he has 7 points in 8 games with a +9. All right, buddy, you do you. You do you. Popov has 7 in 8, Lume 5, Bear 4, Jameson Reese as well with 4 points. Okay, things are looking okay. Only 1 goal for Dawson Mercer, and where's Moss? No goals, 1 assist. Yeah, so I'm going to swap Moss and Mercer. The 4th line seems to be doing all right still. 3rd line, not bad either. Morrison, 3 points and a +4. I like that. And the goaltending is, yeah, Murray's been struggling big time. So let's take Murray out for a little bit. Let's swap Mercer and Moss, and we'll keep rolling like that. All right, those changes have been made. Let's keep on simulating now. We are 6-2-0 through our first 8 games. Let's try to get around to game number 15. Good old Pacific Division matchup against the LA Kings in a couple of weeks or so. In Calgary against the 2-6-0 Flames, we beat them 7-3. Love to see that. Piper and Obergauer for McCabe, a 3rd and a 4th. No, thank you. Detroit Red Wings, we beat them 6-1. So maybe that line change was what we needed there for the 2nd and 3rd line. We'll see Dawson Mercer's numbers in a little bit. But Chris Moss has not been very impressive, even through the preseason. Even with those strong shooting numbers and the X factors, come on, we got to see more. 3-2 victory against the Carolina Hurricanes. We are 9-2-0. What is that, 5 or is that 6 games in a row now? I'm not sure. The Blues are 4-6-1. We're at home, and we beat them 4-2. Minnesota Wild, Yurchek strained hamstring. All right, so that's where the 7th D-men come in now. We're on a very good winning streak at this moment. Defensively, Kozlov and Morrison, what's up with them? Kozlov, 5 goals, 5 assists. He's tied his career high in points through 13 games. Morrison has a goal and 3 assists. He's a +6. I don't think I want to break up Kozlov and Morrison. I was going to promote one of them, but I don't know what's going on with them. There's something in the water. I'm going to put Hayden Fleury on the 2nd pair with Keandre Miller and see how he does there. Yurchek, as of his injury, what was he doing up there? 4 points and a +4. Excuse me, 4 points and a +5 through 13 games, playing 19 minutes per night. All right, let's keep on going now. Minnesota Wild, we beat them 5-4. That was a close one. And San Jose Sharks were 6-5-1 at the Shark Tank. In San Jose, we lose in overtime 2-1. So that broke our winning streak there. We had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-game winning streak. My goodness, one of the longest in franchise history. We are 11-2-1. Things are looking okay. I don't think I'll stop there. Let's go another week to see the Pittsburgh Penguins, who are 7-2-2. Let's just keep on simulating at the moment now. And Peyton Wilm, injured hip. This guy, he can't stay healthy. Peyton Wilm with the injured hip. Okay. So how has Malik been? Oh, he's been very good. So Malik can continue to start for the moment. This will be his big opportunity. Matt Murray slots in as the backup. What's going on here? Just a quick check. Not going to look through the whole team. But Mercer, okay, 10 points in 15 games. There we go. And Hayden Fleury, zeros through 2 games. That's all right. Playing almost 22 minutes a night. Let's keep on going now. LA Kings, 4-0 shutout. I'm not sure who gets credit, if Wilm was in there for all of it or what, but a shutout victory for somebody, or at least for the team at that. 12-2-1 is the record. We beat the Sharks 5-3 after they beat us in overtime. Philadelphia Flyers coming up now. Okay, hold on. Multiple players. That means Yurchek and Wilm, perhaps? Some might just be a playable injury. Let's see this. Playable injury for Yurchek, but Wilm is fully healed. Did Murray play at all? No, he did not. So Malik will continue to play as backup. His numbers are still fantastic. He has been credited with the shutout. I'm not sure if that one was for him or what. Wilm will be back in. He is looking okay. Malik has been strong. Let's keep on simulating. When the simulation is hot, you gotta ride the simulation. I'm not stopping at Pittsburgh. When the simulation is hot, you gotta ride it out. That's a lesson I gotta tell you, ladies and gentlemen. Yurchek is fully healed. Another victory against the Penguins. This is what a team this is. What a team this is. Yurchek's back. Let's go back to defense. Hayden Fleury had zeros through 5 games, playing over 20 minutes a night. That's all we can ask of him. Didn't do anything crazy, but didn't cause any problems either. Morrison, 5 points. Kozlov still at 10 points. He just needs one more to break his career high. Good old Alex Kozlov. Let's keep on going. I hate the glitch when you come out of an injury screen. You got to stop the simulation and keep on going. 4-1 win against the Penguins. We're on, what, a 4-game winning streak right now. We're 15-2-1. We beat the Stars in a shootout 4-3. Arizona Coyotes, who are 8-7-1. We beat them 4-3. Florida Panthers are 7-11-2. We're at home taking on the Panthers, and we beat them in overtime 3-2. Senators are atop their division, I believe. I think I just saw. We beat them 8-3. What in the world is happening? Cody Ceci on waivers, no need. We're going to decline that. We're 19-2-1. The Oilers are always a good matchup, but we're just going to keep on simulating straight through it. They're 12-3-6. We're in Edmonton. We beat them 5-4, I believe, in the shootout there. Separated shoulder for Nick Malik, though. That hurts. He's been a very, very good backup for us. Nick Malik. Let me see him here. Through 5 games, he had a .949 save percentage, 5-0, 1.29 goals against average as well. Thankfully, we don't need to call on our backup goalie too often, but Matt Murray will get backup duties now moving forward until mid-January, another month and a half. We beat the Oilers 5-4 in a shootout. We beat the Flames 2-1. We're 21-2-1. What? And then and an 8-1 loss against the Canucks. So came crashing down eventually. But let's take a moment after the 8-1 loss. Let's just look at where we have gone over the last few games. Just fixing up the lines quickly in the AHL. Safronov can go there, and Matthew Rempe will actually get some time as a defenseman. We mentioned that a couple episodes ago. The guy, as a forward, has crazy physical and defense, so let's give him some time on defense and see how he does there. Substitute there. Fantastic. All right, let's pause now. Let's pause after an 8-1 loss. So we're at 21-3-1. This is one of the best simulations of the first half of the season I've ever had in franchise mode. And McKinnon's not even running away with the scoring. He's only 6 points above a point per game through 25 games. So we are scoring by committee. This team is coming together. We are definitely atop the NHL. I don't think we even need that. Just goes without saying. The Penguins, though, are strong at 16-5-2. 43 points. We have an 86% point percentage. We're scoring over 4 goals per game, allowing just over 2.5. Power play at 20% is not at the top, but it's strong. And our penalty kill is 84.2. I don't think that's exceptionally strong. Closer to the top than the bottom, but 84.2, okay. So pretty average special teams, but it must be 5-on-5. Yeah, so we have only 3 players. Only our first line is point per game or above, so that's crazy. McKinnon 31, Tuck 31, Marco 25 and 25, Vitaly Popov 22 and 25. He's going for a new career high, easily going to be a new career high for him, our new full-time third-line center. Matty Beniers 21, Tarasenko 19, Maloney also with 19. The playmakers are coming out. Moss came around in the goal scoring. There we go, 16 points now. 13 for Keandre Miller. Jamison Reese, our fourth-line center, has been amazing. Pasi Lume's been good. Kozlov still looking for that one more point. He's a plus 16. Rickard Bergenheim here in his rookie season, 10 points as well. Chikrin 10 and a plus 12. Dawson Mercer has slowed down. Only 3 goals and 10 points. Maybe we'll swap Moss back, but things are going well, so no need to touch anything. Yurchek and Bear both with 9 points. Tiny Morrison 7 points and a plus 10. No growth yet, but we're giving him lots of time on the ice. He's playing as a third pair guy, just over 14 minutes a night. And Fleury in those 5 games. Goaltending here. Wilm is 16, 1-1, 913 save percentage, 2.36 goals against. Malik 5-0-0 with a 949 save percentage, a shutout and 1.29 against. Murray has not been good, but it's a very small sample size. Wow, don't really have anything to say here. We are scoring goals. We are winning games. We are strong defensively. No one's going crazy in the goal scoring, but we're winning these 2-1, 3-2, 4-3 games. We are finding a way to get the dubs. So let's just keep on going. Keep the good times rolling. I'm just going to sim, not to any date in particular. We might even go beyond the halfway point at I don't know. You have to ride the hot simulation in franchise mode. And then 3 losses in a row. 8-1, 4-2, and 6-3. Great. Hendrix Lapierre injured in the AHL. That's all taken care of. Sloan is fully healed. He's back in the lineup. Washington Capitals in Washington. Of course, got to stop the simulation, or else I won't tell you what happened. 5-2 loss. So we were on a 4-game losing streak out of nowhere, but thankfully a 3-2 win against the Rangers put an end to that. We're 22-6-1. I don't know if it's a smokescreen or what, that we're winning all these games by 1 goal. Yeah, there's another 5-4 victory there. 3-2, 5-4. Tight wins. We're winning like crazy, but always tight. 4-3 shootout win. Is this something that is sustainable, or will it catch up with us? You know, sometimes a 6-4, 8-1 type of loss when the floodgates open and we can't find the offense. 5-3 loss there against Anaheim. We are one of the highest scoring teams at almost 4 goals per game, but again, it's tight. It's tight. Tikhonov, by the way. So there's that growth that we've been talking around this window. Vitaly Tikhonov, 8 goals and an assist in 30 games. He's grown from a 65 to a 68 already, playing 4th line and power play time. Salcido from like a 58 or a 56 to a 60. Yeah, growth is there. Let's see in the NHL, any growth? No, everyone is still the same. And defense, everyone's still the same. All right, just keep note. After that 5-3 loss against Anaheim, another tight 4-3 win there in the shootout against Vancouver. 3-2 win against the Sharks. I'd be curious to know how many of our wins are by 1 goal. I'll check that in a moment. Let's finish off the month of December. 5-0 shutout against the Vegas Golden Knights. That's what we like to see. 4-2 win against the Sharks, and moving into the new calendar year. On New Year's Eve, we'll take on the Calgary Flames. Reese sore foot and keep him out for a couple of weeks. I'm sorry that it's not been an episode of a lot of slow simming, but it's just the calendar has been so hot, you don't want to touch anything. 13th forward, Mr. Vesa Heiskanen, going to be making his NHL debut. He's been waiting a long time for this. Rickard Bergenheim will play center with 78 faceoffs, even though Lume is listed as a centerman. Unless that hurts the chemistry. Yeah, it does. So Bergenheim goes to the wing then. Lume goes to center, and 4th line can continue to roll like that. 2-1 win there on New Year's Eve against the Calgary Flames. So moving into the new calendar year 2028, we are 29-8-1 through 38 games, 9 points clear of the Edmonton Oilers. Anyone else close by? No. So it's us and then the Oilers for 1-2 in the NHL. I'm curious, though, as I said, how many of our wins are by only 1 goal? Let me go back and do a count. So 15 of our 29 wins, just over half, are by 1 goal, either in regulation or in overtime or a shootout. We're winning by 1 goal, 15 out of 29 wins. So is that something to be concerned about? I don't know. I'm really tempted to go all the way here to ride the hot simulation, but I do want to get your input on some of the any notes or suggestions. But at the same time, we got to get this series over with at the same time because we only have a few seasons left before we start our next one. McKinnon, Marco, and Tuck all over a point per game. Popov, Tarasenko, Maloney, everyone's killing it. I might just go for it here. Peyton Wilm, 23, 5, and 1. His numbers aren't crazy. His wins are amazing, but his numbers aren't crazy. And Matt Murray has not been good now through 7 games. Higher, the sample size is growing, and he's still looking quite abysmal, I do have to say. Now, I think for the length of this video, I'm going to call it there. We're closing in on an hour, and for editing purposes, plus for YouTube purposes, it's just better to, if I have to choose between a 58-minute video or an hour and 32, I think it'd be better to just keep it at what it is. Because then you want to do the season recap, you want to go through the season stories. I don't want to rush anything. I'm going to keep it as is. But we do want to get to the halfway point in the season. Let's go see the New York Islanders. We'll sim through the Coyotes, and then we'll take a moment to really consider everything going on when we hit the halfway point so we can everyone can make informed decisions in the comments. 5-3 loss against the Coyotes. We're at home here against the Islanders. Ryan Pulak's old team, no longer having him in our lineup. I'm not sure if the Islanders still have anybody that we traded over there. First period, 0-0. Shots tied at 12. Second period, Alex Tuch scoring on the power play for us. Eli Tolvanen scoring for the Islanders. NHL 20 legend Eli Tolvanen in the Ducks and Huskies series. Third period, power play for the Islanders. We're out shooting them quite a bit. We kill it off. Shots are 32-22 in our favor halfway through the period now. Still a 1-1 game. We got to get the offense going here. We have Lucas Dostal, though. Of course, Anaheim Ducks legend. And Wahlstrom breaks the deadlock. Is that enough to win it, or do we have something back the other way? We do not. And we drop that one 2-1. Despite outshooting the Islanders 37-26, we drop it 2-1. Lucas Dostal and Eli Tolvanen, 2 guys you just can't beat. If you know, you know. So one more game to call it the halfway point, taking on the Boston Bruins here. We're at home. Let's do it one last time. Looking for win number 30. Can we have 30 wins at the halfway point and be on pace for 60? Let's do it here. At home. First period, 2-1. So Marco scoring twice in that first period, 8 minutes apart from each other, but team is short-handed. We can't be getting up short-handed goals like that. 2-1 through 20. Second period now, 4-1. Thank you very much. So Marco scores twice in the first. Beniers scores twice in the second against Aiden Hill here. 1 on the power play as well. 4-1 after 40. Outshooting Boston 21-15, up by 3 in this third and final period. Power play for the Bruins, by the way, is just 1 power play goal. Sorry, I thought it was 2. As Marco has scored 1. Power play for us goes nowhere. Halfway through this third period, still up by 3. Make it up by 4 as Nathan McKinnon. And then Alec Kozlov. I don't know if that's point number 11, but that's definitely probably goal number 6. Alex Kozlov, one way or another, has passed his career highs in half as much time. 6-1 the final. The Kraken take it. Shots were 31-28. Well done to, I'm not sure what the goalie was. 2 goals for Marco, 3 assists for Tuch, and 2 goals for Beniers. Whoever got that victory, only allowing 1. I assume it was Peyton Wilm, and it was 27 saves on 28 shots. Matt Murray, we got to get Malik back in here, or, you know, he's back the 16th, I think, of January. We're closing in on that date. 30, 10, and 1 here at the halfway point. What a first half of the season it was. So let's recap where we are and what kind of things you may want to be thinking about moving into the second half and getting close to the trade deadline. For your thoughts down in the comments or in the Discord server. We are atop the NHL with 61 points through 41 games played, but the Oilers and the Penguins have 4 games in hand over us. Nonetheless, 30, 10, and 1 is our record. Our goals for per game has come back down a little bit, now at 3.7, and our goals against has risen up to 2.8, highest among the highest of the top teams. Power play at 22.6% is second best in the NHL. Love to see that. And our penalty kill at 85.4 is not the best, but it's close to that top 10 range. I'm literally holding down the left stick on the controller, and it's going this slowly. So it's around the middle, but closer to the top. Anything else we want to see here? Last 10, we are 6-4-0. Yeah, for a record like ours, we're 6-4-0, despite being 30, 10, and 1. 6-4-0 in the last 10, that is. So through the first half of the season, Nathan MacKinnon has 50 points. Isaiah Marco has 47. Alex Tuch has 44. That top line is firing on all cylinders. Matty Beniers, our second line center, has 37 points. Vladimir Tarasenko, our captain, 15 goals and 31 points. So just to say, after last year's 51 points and 23 goals, he is on pace for 30 goals and 62 points, which would really be something. His highest in a few years. So very nice to see that now at the age of 36. Vitaly Popov is already past his career highs. I believe, no, his career high is 37, but he's on pace for 60 points. What a season from the rookie. Not the rookie. I keep thinking rookies, but now he's 23, but the youngster. Chris Moss on pace for 28 goals and 52 points. He's looking all right. Do we swap him back to the second line is the question. Asher Maloney, 26 and 41. Jamieson Reese has been great. He was just a guy that we made a smart deal for. We said, hey, he's a 79 overall, or 77, whatever he was, top 9 potential. 22, 23 years of age. Let's trade for him instead of just dumping a guy for a 5th or a 4th round pick. I remember it was Andrew in the comments who loved that trade as well a number of episodes ago now. 3 seasons in the minors, and here he is in the NHL now paying off. Paying dividends for a smart decision. 18 points in 38 games, 4th line center. He's been great. Really happy to see a story like that panning out as opposed to always doing free agent signings or anything, or veteran moves and things like that. Passy Lume in his rookie season, 16 points. Dawson Mercer has really slowed down at 5 goals in 41 games. So maybe swapping with Moss is the right move. Chikrin, 16 points and a +10. Miller, 15 points, +6. The plus minuses have come back down to earth. Bergenheim on pace for 26 points as a 4th liner here in his rookie season. He's been getting power play time? Really? I have to look into that. Kozlov, 13 points and a +16. What a monster this guy is. Ethan Bear, 13 and a +14, 13 points. Yurchek, 11 points and a +6. Tiny Morrison, 10 points, +8 through 41 games. Heiskanen, 3 games, -1. Alrighty. Goaltending. So Peyton Wilm, 24-7-1 with 1 shutout, a .908 save percentage, and 2.51 goals against. Malik still injured, and Murray an .827 save percentage with a 5.07 goals against average. He's gotten shelled when he's been in there. NHL leaders is Nathan MacKinnon at the top. Just curious to quickly see that. Jack Eichel's at the top, but MacKinnon is just 1 point behind him and Zegras, tied with McDavid and Aho. Marco and Tuch both also up there. Goaltenders leading the league in wins, I'm likely Peyton Wilm. And yes, with Blackwood, Skinner, Allmark Pettersson, Cal Peterson all behind. And for the rookie skaters in the NHL here, Ivan Arkhipov leading the rookie scoring with 28 points in 36 games at the moment. 4th overall pick in 2027. Asher Maloney, though, is in contention there. He's in the running. 26 points in 41 games. Asher Maloney, can he do it? 22 years of age, 12th overall pick in 2023. We specifically traded up for that 12th overall pick. It's not always trading up for the top 3 or top 4 picks. You see a guy you want. We traded for 12th overall. We took Asher Maloney, and here he is now a few years later in his rookie season. So the last thing to do is to quickly fly through the trade blocks to see if anyone is of interest to us so we can make informed decisions, especially heading into the trade deadline. After that, we'll think about contract extensions and call it a day. Sorting by overall here. Prospects on the Ducks, prospects on the Coyotes, Rasmus Anderson, Will Butcher, Manson, Mayfield, Barbashev, some options there on the Bruins. Buffalo has Graves, Stevenson, Rathbone, Sissons, and etc. Reinhart, Monahan, Zubir, Palat, Severson, Shea, Grizzlick, Yarncrow, Armia, all on the Flames. A lot of names there. No one on the Hurricanes. Chicago, Yannick, Avalanche, Ludwig and prospects. Trocheck, Texier, Jones, etc. on the Blue Jackets. Dallas, nobody. Detroit has prospects. Edmonton, prospects, and prospects could be valuable. Panthers, prospects. LA Kings, Heidel, Bushnevich, Zaka, Konechny, Velarde, Jenner, a lot of good names there. Some of them being on expiring deals. Minnesota, nobody. Les Canadiens de Montréal, pretty much just prospects there. Prospects on the Predators. Prospects on the Devils. Balsers, Kerfoot, Kaut, former Seattle Kraken, Fortier, and others on the Islanders. Yeah, he was part of the Pulak trade, I believe, Martin Kaut. Zibanejad and company on the Rangers. Myers, Juleson, Ferraro, Murphy, etc. on the Ottawa Senators. Prospects on the Flyers. Penguins, Lajoie, and prospects. No one on the Sharks. Blues, Kuznetsov, and Samberg. Lightning prospects, Maple Leafs prospects, Canucks, nobody. Vegas Golden Knights, some 81 overalls there. Washington, Ristolainen, Uyghur, Goalie, lots of term though on these deals, Lucas Johansson. And Winnipeg Jets, wow, a lot of names here. Morrissey, Dubois, both on expiring deals. Tippett, Pionk, Olofsson on an expiring deal. What's he done this year? He has 17 points, -11 through 39 games. Pierre-Luc Dubois, 19 points, -14. Not a great fit. And some other names there down the list. Tyler Seguin there. 3 points in 3 games, being disrespected by the organization. So there are the trade blocks. And they're Winnipeg is a losing team, by the way. So it would make sense for trades if we wanted to get somebody. Looking at the contract situation, if this game could stop being so sticky, that would be great. Contract extensions. If we want to think about sending some extensions to a guy like K'Andre Miller, we do have over $17.5 million to play with. Miller would want 4.8. 85% would be less than that. So do we want to re-sign K'Andre Miller, or is it too much of a logjam? Chris Moss is looking for 3. Ooh, he wants good money. Popov's definitely going to want some good money, right? Yeah, he wants $7 million for 3. Yeah, that's not going to happen, but we can always qualify him and figure it out. Fleury, Maloney, Mercer. It's going to take there's a lot of big names that got to get re-signed. We have the money, but it's going to be a lot of guys. It's going to be a tough offseason. So let me know your thoughts on if anyone should be re-signed now or extended now, or if we just wait for that later on. Murray, Markin, probably just not going to... I'll probably just let Murray walk in the end. He has not been good. So there's the first half of the season, my friends. I'll take care of scouting and send out the scouts myself right now. We are 30, 10, and 1 at the halfway point. Although this team is looking good, we have had some of those questions, more goaltending-wise than defense-wise. Do we keep everything as is? Do we just swap Mercer and Moss, or do we want to think about actually making some trades? We do have a lot of picks. We have 2 first-round picks, 2 or 3 second-round picks. Do we want to bolster our prospects? What position prospect should we be looking at maybe? A guy like K'Andre Miller, is he moving out? Or do we want to promote defense? Did I make any mistakes for the initial lineup? Are there players who need to be playing like Vince Sloan? Looking forward to hearing all those thoughts down here in the YouTube comments or over on the Discord server. The link for that is down in the description below. So thank you again for taking the time to watch. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed it. Do you think that we can go for 60? I'll have to check for next episode what our franchise record is for most wins in a season, but we are looking good. So be sure to subscribe so that you do not miss the next episode, the second half of this season. You'll also get all the other series on the channel. We have this franchise mode, FIFA 22 career mode, NHL 07 dynasty mode, of course a bit on the back burner due to this series being given a lot of priority. The data casts talking about all things National Hockey League, and the NHL redrafts. Most recently we did the redraft of the top 10 defensemen of the 2016 class. It takes a ton of research, a lot of time, but I hope that you enjoy them because I love these numbers. If you love franchise mode, you love those stats and numbers as well. But I'll end it off there. We are looking strong and are potentially poised for another deep Stanley Cup run. Can we make it 4 in a row as we go deeper into dynastic territory? Be sure to leave all your thoughts, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again in the next one.